The funeral bells tolled across the valley as Elena buried her father beneath the ancient cottonwood tree at sunset with tears falling. She inherited the Lazy S Ranch, 1,000 acres of prime grazing land with crystal springs her mother had named. Harlan Grange, the wealthiest cattle baron in the territory, arrived the next morning wearing a vulture's calculating smile. He offered her a heavy sack of gold coins for the deed, enough to live comfortably in the distant city. Elena refused, knowing the land held her father's sweat and her mother's memory in every stone and fence post. That night, a painted Romani wagon creaked into the yard, pulled by a strange blind horse with shimmering hooves. The horse's eyes were clouded like moonstones, but her hooves gleamed with a golden brass hue that defied nature. The old trader woman spoke the name Solara, a Mare who could sense the earth's hidden treasures through her steps. She claimed the horse's golden hooves struck a rhythm that revealed water, gold veins, and long-lost secrets beneath soil. Elena felt an inexplicable pull toward the blind Mare, a connection deeper than logic or any reason she could name. Harlan returned the next morning, doubling his offer and threatening to cut off her water rights if she refused again. The trader watched silently as Elena wrestled with the weight of her family's legacy and the land's future. Caleb, a gentle rancher from the next valley, rode in to offer his quiet support and his steady counsel. He had loved Elena from afar since childhood, though he never had the courage to speak his feelings aloud. He told her the legend of a golden-hooved horse that once led a starving pueblo to a hidden gold cache. Elena made her choice, signing the deed over to the trader in exchange for the blind Mare Solara at dawn. Harlan laughed cruelly, calling her a foolish girl who traded her entire birthright for a broken and worthless animal. Caleb stood by her side, his quiet faith in her decision a warm and unwavering flame against the cold mockery. The townsfolk whispered that she had lost her mind, but Elena saddled Solara as the morning mist rose. She rode the blind horse out of the ranch gate, leaving her entire inheritance behind without a single backward glance. Caleb followed on his own horse, unwilling to let her face the unforgiving wilderness and its dangers alone. The Mare's golden hooves clicked against the stone trail, each strike sending a shimmering musical note into the air. Elena noticed that where Solara stepped, tiny sparks ignited on the dusty path as if stars were born. After hours of silent riding, the Mare stopped abruptly and pawed the ground with her right front hoof. A spring of fresh water bubbled up instantly from the dry earth, proving the horse could sense hidden sources. Caleb knelt and tasted the water, finding it sweeter and colder than any he had ever known before. They continued westward into the canyon, Solara's hoofbeats echoing like a sacred drum of ancient and forgotten wisdom. The rhythm changed when they reached a narrow pass, the strikes sounding hollow and deep as a cavern's heart. Elena dismounted and dug where the horse indicated, uncovering a thick vein of pure gold ore in the rock. She stared at the glittering discovery, understanding that the Mare led her to a wealth far beyond mere coins. Yet she did not stop, for something deep inside told her the greatest treasure still lay ahead in the mountains. The trail led to a cave hidden behind a roaring waterfall, completely invisible to any passing rider or hunter. Inside, they found wooden chests overflowing with Spanish doubloons, jeweled crucifixes, and a conquistador's ceremonial golden armor. A skeleton in rusted armor lay beside a leather-bound diary, its pages yellowed but still legible after centuries. The diary told of a cursed expedition that hid their plunder from native warriors before perishing from a terrible fever. Elena realized the treasure was worth at least 10 times what Harlan had paid for her family's ranch. She loaded only a single chest onto a pack mule, leaving the rest for the spirits of the dead. Caleb asked why she did not take it all, and she replied that greed had poisoned too many souls already. They rode back toward the valley, the golden hooves now leading them home with a steady and purposeful rhythm. Word of their discovery spread like wildfire, and the townsfolk gathered in stunned disbelief at the sight of gold. Harlan confronted them at the town square, his face twisted with greed and rage, demanding to know the location. Elena held up the conquistador diary and proclaimed that the land he stole held secrets older than any deed. She offered to buy back the lazy-ass ranch with a single chest of the treasure she had found. Harlan refused, his arrogance blinding him to the fact that she now held every advantage and the law. Caleb stepped forward, revealing that the water rights Harlan threatened were never legally his to control or divert. The town sheriff confirmed that Elena's father had filed a prior claim protecting her springs from any interference forever. Harlan's empire crumbled as his creditors learned he had overextended on loans secured by water he did not own. He was forced to sell the ranch back to Elena for a fraction of its worth, a humiliating defeat. She reclaimed her family home, the cottonwood tree still standing tall as a faithful sentinel of enduring hope. Solara was given a place of honor in the main barn, her golden hooves polished until they glowed. The Mare remained blind, yet her inner vision had led them all to justice, renewal, and a profound peace. Elena and Caleb worked the land together, their bond deepening with each passing day into a quiet and steady love. He carved a small wooden charm in the shape of a golden hoof and gave it to her one evening. She wore it around her neck always, a reminder that true value is never seen with the eyes. One night, under a harvest moon, Solara's hooves glowed like molten gold and struck the earth 3 times. A new spring burst forth near the cabin, its water carrying a strange and gentle warmth that healed sickness. The spring's water cured a fever that swept through the town, saving the lives of countless children and elders. People came from miles around to drink, and Elena never charged a single coin for the healing gift. Harlan, broken and humbled, returned to beg forgiveness and a sip of the water for his own dying son. Elena gave it freely, proving that true wealth is found in mercy and not in bitter vengeance or retribution. The old Romani trader reappeared at the ranch gate, revealing she was Elena's great-aunt, long thought to be dead. She had tested Elena's heart, knowing the Mare Solara would only choose a guardian pure enough to hear her. She blessed the union of Elena and Caleb, who were married under the ancient cottonwood tree that autumn. Solara wore a garland of wildflowers around her neck, her blind eyes seeming to smile at the sacred ceremony. The couple used the remaining treasure to build a school and a clinic for the entire valley and beyond. They never forgot that a blind horse saw more than any sighted creature could ever hope to understand. Years later, a colt was born to Solara with the same golden hooves, a living legacy of the Mare. Elena taught her children that inheritance is not measured in land, but in the spirit you choose to nurture. The colt grew strong, and Solara passed peacefully one morning, her sacred mission on this earth finally complete. They buried her under the cottonwood, her grave marked by a stone carved in the shape of a hoof. Every year, on the anniversary of her death, the golden hooves of her offspring would strike the earth. The sound echoed through the valley like a bell, reminding all that gold is forged in trust and sacrifice. Caleb held Elena's hand as they watched the herd run, their love ageless and their hearts full. A story spread across the frontier, a legend of a girl who traded everything for a blind horse. She proved that a blind Mare's golden hooves were the truest inheritance any soul could ever hope to receive. The valley prospered, and the lazy ass became known not for cattle, but for the healing spring and golden horses. Travelers brought their sick and their hopeless, and Elena welcomed them all with the same mercy she had shown Harlan. The old trader's wagon was preserved in the barn, a reminder of the night destiny arrived on creaking wheels. Caleb wrote down the entire story in a leather-bound journal, so that future generations would never forget the miracle. Elena grew old with grace, her silver hair shining like the hooves she once followed into the dark mountains. On her last day, she asked to be taken to Solara's grave, where she lay down beneath the cottonwood. She closed her eyes and whispered the Mare's name, and the wind carried the sound of distant hoofbeats to her. Caleb buried her beside the horse, and the entire valley mourned the woman who valued spirit above gold. The ranch passed to their children, who tended the spring and cared for the golden-hooved horses with reverent devotion. The conquistador treasure was never fully claimed, for the cave remained hidden, guarding its secrets for another pure heart. Harlan's son, healed by the water, grew up to become the town's doctor, serving the poor without charge. Thus the circle of redemption closed, all because a blind Mare saw what no one else could. So ends the tale of Elena, Caleb, and Solara, a story from West Old Stories official for your soul. Thank you for riding with us through this shimmering valley of faith, sacrifice, and enduring true love. If this story touched your heart, please subscribe to West Old Stories right now for more frontier legends. Like this video, so the algorithm knows you believe in treasures that cannot be held or seen. Tell us in the comments what you would trade for a blind horse with hooves of pure gold.